So this is the Ross chapter 34 translation exercise homework. So let's see what sort of questions you have about this. All right. So questions on the translations. Number 2. Very good. So we have lo yacholti la seit he avon hazeh. Okay. Now, let's take a look here at what we've got. Lo is a particle that does what to verbs and other things? It negates them. Good. Look at yacholti. Yacholti. What do you see on the back side of this that might help you parse this? Good. So this is the perfect 1CS, right? Okay. So what am I looking at here? This might be my 3 root letters with a kametz under it. Which stem might that be? The kal stem, right? Pakad, pakadti. But I have a holum here. Do I have any verbs that have a holum for the theme vowel in the kal perfect? Imperatives can do that, but when I have T at the end, I know that's got to be a perfect, right? So I need to only be thinking about the perfect, and that just means that my theme vowel normally in the kal is pathak. But do I have some other verbs that have other theme vowels in the kal perfect besides a pathak? If you remember chapter 19, I have stative verbs, don't I? And sometimes I can have the theme vowel sere in the perfect or holum. Kaved is the kal perfect of kavad. And yakol is the kal perfect of that verb. So I know it's been a while since we've seen it, but that's the kal perfect. Okay, so yakolti. I was able. Put lo in front of it. I was not able. Okay, what was I not able to do? Next, I have laseit. Laseit. What is the form I'm looking at here? I've got a lamed, and as you might remember, when you have a verb that means to be able, it is not uncommon to have a lamed plus an infinitive. So I want to be thinking like that. Anytime you see to be able, you should be looking for a lamed. And if that lamed is the prefix lamed of the preposition, then I'm left with seit here. Now, what might this be? You have some root letters that might be identifiable, right? Do you have any verbs that have a sin aleph sequence? Yeah, nasa is one of our new verbs, isn't it? Nasa. Is it possible for this root 1 noon to go missing on us? Yes. If the noon of nasa undergoes aphoresis and falls out, in the infinitive construct, what falls like manna from heaven? A tav, right? So you see how I have possibly roots 2, 3, and then the tav, right? So, and that happens in the kal infinitive construct. So this means to lift up. So I was not able to lift up, okay? Now we're going to talk a little bit more in a second about what the best way to translate that is, but for now, just you get this picture of lifting, picking something up, okay? I was not able to lift up. Is this a von or an own? Is that a holum vav or is that a vav with a holum vowel? That's right. That's a vav. That's a consonant vav. You might look at it and say, yeah, but it looks like a holum vav. True enough. But then the ayin has a vowel under it and a vowel beside it. That's not okay in Hebrew, is it? So what I have to do is take the ayin and say this is its vowel, and so the vav must be the consonant that's leading that vowel, that holum. Okay, so you're going to pronounce the this as a v and then the o. So he avon, he avon. What is he avon? It's the iniquity. Okay, this is the article he. Normally, the he has a pathak and a doubling dot. Can ayin take a doubling dot? No, I can't. Can't put one there, right? So what's going to happen? There's several things that can happen, right? And this will just be a little review of the hey, the article hey. I could have hey pathak doubling dot. I could have hey pathak with no doubling dot. I could have hey with a kametz for compensatory lengthening. And I could have hey with a segol. Okay? Those are all possible. And this one's the one with the hey with the segol for the article. Where does it happen? When I have ayin and hey with kametz under it, I frequently will see that, okay? I don't really expect you to remember that much as much as to remember that the article could have any of these three vowels when there's a guttural. A, or I, okay? Or eh. Okay, so the iniquity, hazeh, is also articular along with he avon. Avon is masculine singular, zeh is masculine singular, so this is the demonstrative functioning as an attributive. So I cannot lift up which iniquity? This iniquity. This iniquity. Now, when you lift up someone's iniquity, what are you doing? Okay, you could lift it up so as to remove it. So, if you're the one that has iniquity on you, metaphorically, and I lift it up, then that could, as someone else lifts it up, then that could be forgiving, right? Or removing it. But if you are the one who has iniquity and you're the one who is the subject of the verb as well, then it's bear. I cannot bear this iniquity, right? So we don't have any context, so we don't know like which one of these is the best way to translate it. So you could invent a story in your mind and then translate it the way you think. I can't remember what my answer key has. Do I have bear or lift up or forgive? Forgive? Yeah. So in my mind, I was assuming that he was maybe speaking from Yahweh's perspective, but I could just as well see someone like Cain saying, "I can't bear this. This is, my iniquity is too great." Although, we don't really know psychologically what was going on. The word iniquity, by the way, can refer to the wrongdoing. And sometimes it stands for the penalty of the wrongdoing. So the guilt or the penalty of it, I can't bear. And that may also be what's going on here. So I would take bear as well as lift up or forgive. All right. Carry, yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. Although in English, we don't usually... Well, I guess sometimes we do talk about carrying guilt. Usually what we mean by that is psychological guilt. Interestingly, the Bible doesn't really talk about guilt in that way. Guilt is usually viewed as something objective, right? You bear guilt because you bear the blame for it or the penalty for it. We've psychologized guilt so much that we only really think of guilt as feeling guilty, and then if I can just make the guilty feelings go away, then I'm not guilty anymore, right? And of course, your guilt still remains objectively, even if you don't feel guilty. But that's...
It's also isn't that also transgression as well as iniquity?
It's glossed as transgression in some places. So yeah. I can't remember when he introduced you to this word, but I'm sure he probably includes transgression as one gloss for it. All right, good. What else? All right. Number 4? Yeah. Let's look at number 4. Okay. Okay, so number 4, I have va tidor ha'isha nader lemor etain et bani la Adonai. Okay. What do I have at the beginning of this? I have va tidor. You see the vav pathak doubling dot in what looks like a nutty prefix? What does that tell you? This is a WCI, which is past time. Okay? If that's the vav pathak and doubling dot in the nutty prefix, then what I have left over are only 2 root letters. Which 2 are they probably? Yeah, Dalet and Resh are roots 2 and 3. Where is root 1? Do I have a doubling dot in root 2 that can account for root 1? Yes. That Dalet has a doubling dot. So what do I think my root 1 letter was? A noon. So I've got Dalet, Resh, and probably a noon prefix. Is there a verb nadar that we have learned?
Yes, to swim.
To swim? Oh, goodness. That's Spanish. Yo, that's right. Haha, nice. Yes. So this is to vow. To vow. All right. So now take a look at the vowel pointing. So it would have been tindor, and it becomes tiddor. I have a Keurig under root 1. So what stem is that likely going to be? Okay, yeah, that's the person gender number, 3FS or 2MS. But what stem takes a Keurig under the nutty prefix? The nifal can take 1 and a doubling dot in root 1. But this is root 2, right? So this is the cal. That's right. So it's a cal WCI. Because this really stands for tin, not tinna, right? Tin door. So this is a cal WCI, 3FS. Now look, I have ha'isha next, which is feminine singular. And that's then very likely my subject of this. So I'm going to go with 3FS. So the woman, past time, because it's a WCI, she nadared. What did she do? She vowed. And then I have a noun that's related to the verb. She vowed a vow. Lemor, saying. She vowed a vow, saying, etain. Which verb is etain? Verbal root? Yeah, that's Nathan again. Notice that I have a prefix aleph and root 1 is missing. Where is it? It's assimilated. Okay? So it hasn't undergone aphoresis. It's not in Sheol. It's still here, but it's assimilated, so we can't see it so well, right? So it's an I will, because that's a cal imperfect with the 1CS prefix, and I will what? Give. Yeah, so she vowed a vow saying, I will give et bani. Yes, this could be a common noun with a 1CS pronoun, my son. If her son's name is Benny, then it will be, I will give Benny. All right? So, I will give my son, or Benny, La Adonai, to the Lord. That's right. So there you go. Other questions? Let's look at number 5. So I have lo tesa. Lo tesa. Remember, we're negating the verb with lo. And I have tesa. If I take the tav as a prefix tav, then how many root letters do I have? Only two. And which two would they be? Roots 2 and 3. And root 1 that's missing might be visible how? As a dagesh forte, which means my root letters are, before the sin and the aleph, anun. Is that a verb I know? Yes. Okay. So lo tisa would be what? Yeah, lift up. And the T, the tav prefix could be 3fs or 2ms, right? Okay. So if we go with 3fs, it's she will not lift up. If it's 2ms, you will not lift up. And if we keep reading, we'll try to get a better sense of which person this is and maybe even how the imperfect is functioning. Et shame. What's et here? That's the direct object marker, the name. Now look at what comes after. I've got a definite direct object marker, but shame does not have the article. So how can shame be made definite with this definite direct object marker when it doesn't have an article? That's right. It's in a construct chain. And the construct chain renders thing 1 definite if thing 2 is definite. Is this definite? Eloheinu. Yes. By virtue of the pronominal suffix. So, our God. So, lift up the name of our God. Okay? La shocker. Okay, remember, sheker is one of our new vocab words. It means deception, right? Did you say, what was that? That is chapter 34, right? Yeah, so you learned that in chapter 34, so sheker. Deception, falsehood, vanity. Okay? So, unto vanity. Or this is often translated as in vain in our Bible translations. In vain. So what do you think this is? Is this 3fs or 2ms? Lo tisa. 2ms. Okay, because it's instructing people with a command. And therefore, this is a prohibition rather than just simply saying what you will not do. That is to say, remember, when I want to negate an imperative, I can't negate the imperative. So I have to do one of two things. I use lo plus the second person prefix conjugation, imperfect, second person, or all plus the second person gessive. If I use lo plus the imperfect, it's a general prohibition. If I use all plus the gessive, it's a specific prohibition. What is this? This is a general prohibition, right? And so I might want to translate it in that way. In English, we would say, you shall not lift up the name of our God, l'shaker, in vain, unto vanity, unto falsehood. That is to say, don't deceptively lift up or carry the name. If you say you follow Yahweh, what are you going to do? You're going to not just talk the talk, but you're going to walk the walk, right? So I think that's the idea here. So if I were parsing this, it would be from Nasa, and we're going to go with cal, imperfect, 2ms, and it's functioning as a negative command. It's a prohibition of a general sort. All right? So that's a good question there. Any other questions? All right, let's look at number 3 here. So I have Vaihi Bugishti Elav. Vaihi, is that a WCI or WCP form of Haya? It's a WCI. Notice I have the pathak here under the vav. I would have had a doubling dot and a vocal shava, but what kind of a letter is yod? It's a Squinum Levy letter, right? The Y of Squinum Levy is the yod. So that's what's happened here. So I've lost the doubling dot there, but in every other way it looks like a WCI, which means it's what time frame? Past. Very good. So I don't have to translate it. I'm going to go to the next prepositional phrase, which is telling me what the time frame is in the past. And I have b-gish t. B-gish t. This is my good old bet preposition here, right? This is the Keurig yod of the 1cs pronominal suffix. And what's in the middle are an infinitive construct, which this is very common in Hebrew to have vayhi, bet preposition for time, an infinitive construct, and then sometimes the pronominal suffix. I'm going to translate this as when I, past time because of the vayhi here, when I gesheted, whatever geshet means. But what's the verb form here? If this is an infinitive, this tav doesn't belong to the root if it's a one noon verb. It's the bonus tav that comes with the cal infinitive construct. And that means that if I'm seeing root 2 and 3, root 1 is a missing noon. And that's the question. Is nagash one of my verbs that takes a one noon that undergoes aphoresis in the infinitive? Does it? Yes, it does. When I lose the one noon to create the infinitive construct and I get the tav, this becomes geshet, the double sagol, right? Geshet. When I add the pronoun suffix, it becomes gishta, gishta, b'gishti. All right? So this is when I nagashed. What does that mean? When I approached. Remember, it's got to be past time because of the vayhi in front. When I approached or came near a lav, to whom? Which pronoun is that? That's 3ms, okay? With the preposition el, which means to or toward. This looks like the pronoun I add to plural nouns, doesn't it? You know how we have the eHarmony set 1 pronouns and the community set 2 pronouns? This looks like the set 2 3ms pronoun, right? The set 1 is holam vav, and the set 2 is the vav with the yod and the kametz before it, okay? But remember, prepositions choose which set to take. The lamed preposition takes the set 1 pronoun, lo. The prepositions el and all take the set 2 pronouns. So there's the same pronoun, 3ms, okay? But lamed bet takes set 1, el and all takes set 2, okay? In other words, there's nothing plural about a preposition. It's just certain prepositions take one set or the other. So when I approached to him, what happened? Va'esa. Va'esa. What do I have here? I have a vav with an A-class vowel under it and a prefix aleph, which looks like the 1cs, right? Is this a WCI kind of vav, vowel pointing? Maybe not, maybe so. What would I expect with a WCI? I'd expect a vav, a pathak, and a doubling dot in the prefix. Can aleph take a doubling dot? No. So when the doubling dot is rejected, what will the short pathak do to compensate for the loss of doubling? It will lengthen. That's right. And so my kametz becomes my pathak becomes a kametz here. So this is, in fact, a WCI and a 1CS prefix. And that means that what I have left are only roots 2 and 3. Where has my root 1 gone? Oh, not quite Sheol. The Borg took him away, right? But he's still alive. He's just a cyborg now. All right? So there he is. It's in the Dagesh Forte in the scene. So it would have been Va Ensa, and it becomes Va Essa with a doubling dot. Okay? So what does this mean? It's past time because it's a WCI form. And it's the cal because it has the I-class vowel here. So, and I lifted up, right? So when I approached to him, I lifted up et koli. I lifted up what? I lifted up my voice. Yes, I lifted up my voice. And then I have a vav. Okay? I lifted up my voice and Omar. Omar was really small. I was able to lift him up. No, I'm just kidding. So what is Va Omar? This is the end of the direct object. And I lifted up my voice and I what? And I said. Now, are we sure that this is and I said? Is this a WCI form again? Yes. Vav, pathak doubling dot, reject the doubling dot if you're an aleph, lengthen the pathak compensatorily. Okay, so this is 1CS. Now, here's the question. What's that? Yeah. If it's not a WCI, but just a normal vav, it would just have a vocal shiva here. That's right. Now, so this is vav. It's an A vowel, and the first thing after a WCI is always the nutty prefix. So what I'm seeing here in the aleph, that is not the root 1 aleph, that is the 1CS prefix aleph, okay? So what's my verb root? My verb root is amar, but where is the root 1 aleph of amar? Yeah, apparently so, right? But this is not a 1 noon verb, is it? It's not a 1 noon verb. But this is a naughty 1 aleph verb, isn't it? So you see the holum with the imperfect prefix aleph. That's true of cal 1 aleph verbs that are naughty. Here's what it should have looked like. It should have been O mar. Okay? The prefix aleph takes the holum vowel. The root 1 aleph quiesces, which means not only does it not have any vowel pointing, but it is not pronounced. And in Hebrew, when that aleph ceases to be pronounced, sometimes, especially with the aleph before it, it could fall out of the spelling because you're not even pronouncing it anyway. Okay, so that's what's happened, is that the aleph is quiesced and is not pronounced, and in the 1CS prefix, not even written. Okay, so va omar is and I said. So I lifted up my voice and I said, ma titain li. What's ma? What? Titain? This is which verb? Nathan. That's right. So this is the verb Nathan. Where is my root 1 noon of Nathan? It has assimilated. It's in the tav. Okay? So I only see roots 2 and 3 visibly. Root 1 noon is assimilated. So this is the cal imperfect of Nathan. So what will you give Lee? To me. What will you give to me? Right? Lamed plus 1CS pronoun. All right? We good?